The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you all for joining us today. As always, tremendous guests are in store on this program on show number 472. I'd also like to remind you that you can go to stewart.com/radio. That's right. You can see the show. We have tremendous guests here. It's always nice to see what's happening in the studio. So simply go to stewart.com/radio. In addition, you could see at least 2 years and hear 2 years of the past shows. Always a great thing to do at stewart.com/radio. Let's get down to business. We're going to talk about real estate in the Cypress, Houston area. In addition, we're going to go to the island. Do you hear that island music? That's right. We're going to go to the Galveston Island a little bit later in the show. But right now, we're going to talk to Tiffany Nolan. She is the broker owner of Maddie Lowe Properties. Tiffany, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, here you are all the way from
Cypress, Texas.
And Cypress, Texas is really not that far. It's a wonderful place here in Houston.
Not far at all. I'm 20 minutes to get here this morning, and that's no traffic, probably on a good day, 30 minutes away.
Well, let's tell people, Maddie Lowe Properties, you're doing tremendous work there all the time, you and your agents. Let's tell people about your company.
Well, Maddie Lowe Properties has been in business since 2014. I have 5 active agents, so it's a small boutique brokerage. We all work out of our homes, so it's kind of nice to be able to be mobile for going to where we need to go. Most clients don't come to the office very often, so.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
As far as I have to ask the name, Maddie Lowe. Who is Maddie Lowe?
Maddie Lowe is my daughter. Actually, name is Madeline Lowe, but I shortened it to give a little bit of homage to my firstborn child. And oddly enough, she is now a news reporter. So
Wow.
kind of nice.
Well, let's tell people she's a news reporter in what city? It's not here in Houston.
No, she's in Jackson, Mississippi.
How's she like it there?
She loves it so far. She's been there a little bit over a year now, so it's more home to her now because she's starting to make friends and meet people. And I guess with any other 22-year-old, you just kind of have to get out there and put yourself out before you can meet people, and she's finally starting to do that.
She's probably listening right now to her mom in the 4th largest city, Houston, Texas, you think?
Oh, she would love to get in the Houston market. I promise you, she'll work towards it.
Well, before we narrow down on real estate in Cypress, Texas, let's tell people, since you mentioned Jackson and your daughter's there, you're in the real estate world, does she ever tell you, hey, Mom, boy, the real estate market, it's like this in Jackson?
Absolutely
not.
not.
What does she say?
She has no interest whatsoever. Believe it or not, she just knows she feels a little bit skeptical that she'll ever be able to afford to buy a house.
Oh, really?
I mean, I think a lot of young people are feeling that right now, unfortunately, which is not true. But she is an only, single income, obviously, right now. So if she ever gets a significant other, it'll be a little bit more, I don't know, obtainable, I guess. But she feels right now that she's going to be a renter forever, and I told her that that's not going to happen with me as her mother.
Well, I'm sure she appreciates us talking about her personal life here in Houston, Texas.
Probably so.
But it's fun, yeah. So let's tell people, narrowing down, let's go back to the Houston area. Cypress, certainly our city, as we all know, is expanding in every single direction, right?
Right.
But Cypress is like right up there on one of the top spots.
It's been great. It's been great during, should I say the COVID word? During all of that, it kind of threw our market, just like every market, in an upside down and crazy kind of point. And as we all know, prices went up. It's kind of a harder market to enter into for first-time buyers because our average price has gone up so much out there. But certain
interest rates too, right?
Interest rates and everything. So I think a lot of people are discouraged by that. But I would hopefully be able to convince them to not let that be their deterring factor from home ownership.
Well, in your world of helping buyers and sellers right now, and of course you go beyond Cypress, but that's your base, right? What are you telling the buyers right now? Are you helping first-time buyers? Let's talk about that in a second.
I help first-time buyers. I help people that want to downsize. I have people that want to invest in properties. So because I am a wide range real estate agent / broker, I kind of get to deal with a lot of different people. First-time buyers, like I said, they're mostly going towards the new construction. I think that's because they like everything new. And shiny and bright, and that's what new construction has to offer. So with that said, I think the builders are given a lot of incentives right now for them. They help to buy down rates or closing costs, things like that. So I would say if you can get into a house that's $350,000, $400,000 and under, go for it. If you can afford the payment, do it. You can always refinance later. I don't think we'll ever see 2s and 3s again, maybe in my lifetime, but certainly 4s, 4.5 are, going to be obtainable again, I think, in the future, hopefully.
And you mentioned as far as the incentives that builders, I think some of them I've heard are even throwing in. I mean, there's always a cost. It's always factored in. But they're offering appliances as well.
All the appliances are usually included in certain builders. But, yeah, they have to throw in, a little bit more nowadays whereas before they weren't even paying us agents full commissions. Now they're begging us again. And they're throwing things.
Hey, it's like an old boyfriend or girlfriend.
Right,
hey, you remember me?
Right. So they want us back. They're willing to give us BTSAs. They're willing to give clients the extras, throw in the appliances.
Yeah.
Right. Do all of those different things. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Some people, like I said, they're just still scared because of the interest rate. But honestly, when I bought my first house back in the 90s, I was at 7 3/4. Of course, the home price wasn't nearly as much. But if you think about that, the interest I was paying was way more than my principal. So those houses didn't get paid down nearly as quick because of the higher interest rate. I think that's the fear of people owning too much.
Speaking of Cypress again, as I drive through there, I don't go there a lot, but when I go up and down 99 for a variety of reasons, I mean, there's so much construction going on. Tell us about someone that says, Tiffany, I want to buy a home in Cypress, in the Cypress area. I have $450,000. Let's take that number. What is possible for that price range in Cypress?
In Cypress, anywhere from 19 to 2,400 square feet, possibly.
It is possible, though.
Absolutely possible. Resale, new construction. You could possibly even get a home with a pool if the house is small enough. You might be in a multiple bid situation still with houses with pools, but it's definitely doable. Empty nesters are now wanting to downsize, so they'll sell their larger homes and go towards the smaller homes. So there's definitely there's inventory. And like I said, the builders are offering more now, too, because they're starting to finally have some inventory, which we haven't had in the last couple of years.
And that's a good point. You mentioned the pool. I remember years ago where the pool was like, it's not that big a deal if it has it or not. Now it sounds like, based on what you said, a pool is a premium to have that.
I think so, only because what you get for resale with the pool is not nearly as much as it would be to build a brand new pool. So say you buy a house for $450,000, a pool, if you're going to add in a pool, is going to be probably about $75,000 today. A lot of people want the house that's $450,000 with a pool already, so they're not having to finance that as well. And it's also because you're paying a lot to finance a pool, too, if you have to finance it.
Just call Tiffany for that pool in Cypress
or anywhere else. Well, hey, I do have good pool connections, too. I have a lot of pool builder friends.
That's exciting as well. So as far as some of the other areas you're working, Tiffany, let's tell people about some of the other ones as far as the market condition. Other than Cypress, where else is a hot spot?
Spring, Klein, Tomball, Magnolia. All the northwest side is doing really good. Katy, Cypress, Woodlands. We kind of go wherever our buyers and sellers want us to go. I mean, as long as we know the market, we're confident that we can do that. And plus, with the 5 agents we have, we're kind of spread out.
So it's interesting if you look at it like Houston, Texas is, like I say, like the planet Saturn. Has a lot of rings around it, the rings being the 610 loop, the Beltway 8, now 99. But if we look at that same model, so to speak, as a clock, the areas you're mentioning, say from 8 o'clock to noon or 12, that's the Northwest.
Right.
Katy and that. It's hot areas.
Very hot. And we have growth, too. So since we are still building. So there's plenty of things on the 99 Grand Parkway that are going to be coming up, I'm pretty sure, in the next couple of years. Newest neighborhood out there off of 290 is Dunham Point. I think we're still growing quite a bit.
Dunham Point, is that on the outside of 99 or inside?
It's on the inside.
The inside.
So right on the inside, literally right across Mason from the subdivision of Fairfield.
So that's a new one coming up.
It's already up and running.
What's the price points over there?
They start in the mid to high fours.
Kind of where we're
talking. You're right.
Exactly. As you're helping, let's say the buyer again, last 10 buyers, how many have been from outside of Texas, if any?
I would say a couple for me. I get a lot of referrals from past clients. So I've had a couple from California. I've had one from New York, and I have one now that's in Texas, just coming to another city in Texas. 70 to 80% are already from Texas that I personally work with, but there are a lot of other people coming from, mostly from California, I would say. A lot of movement from California, from me at least.
They're increasing a lot of different taxes. There's a mansion tax now in Los Angeles County that just went into effect. So there's a car an extra car tax. There's a bunch of taxes that they've thought up that are being deployed right now. Well, Tiffany Nolan, broker owner, Maddie Lowe Properties. Before we close this segment, Tiffany, what else would you like people to know?
That if you're looking for the personal real estate experience, then you need to come to Maddie Lowe Properties. We have the agents that can help you. We are, from start to finish, the one call does it all.
One call does it all. And we want to say hi to your daughter one more time, right?
Madeline Nolan, I love you.
Thank you, Tiffany. Let's tell people how they can reach you. Your phone number, please.
Phone number 832-752-2769. 832-752-2769.
Thank you so much, Tiffany.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
As we continue with Maddie Lowe Properties, let's welcome Carmen Fujimoto. Carmen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me again. It's good being here.
It's only been over a year or so, or maybe, I forget. I bet it's over a year that you were here on KPRC at the old studios.
That's correct. You're right.
So a lot's gone on in that year or so, Carmen.
I think so, yeah.
Let's tell people your role at Maddie Lowe Properties.
I am a realtor with Maddie Lowe Properties. I've been with Tiffany and her group for just a little while, I think since 2016, and I've been in the business for about 11 years. So it's been a little while that I've been enjoying working with Tiffany.
How about that? So how did y'all meet and get together, out of curiosity?
We actually met at a former brokerage that we were both at, and I knew she had gone out on her own, and then, just had an epiphany and said it was time for me to do something different, go with a different brokerage. Called up Tiffany, and I said, hey, what's going on? Let's talk a little. And so we chatted, and here we are. Years later, we're working together and having a great time doing it.
Well, that's the way it works with the clients, too, isn't it?
It's
We
true.
meet people we like. We want to do business with those that we enjoy working with, professionals, and therein lies the model, I think.
That's true. Very personal. She's great to work with and just makes you at ease. And I think that's what we do with all of our clients. We, create that personal relationship that I really like, one-on-one interaction from beginning to end, and just create a great business model for something. She created a great business model for us to follow.
Well, give people an idea. Certainly you work all over Houston and have the license to sell everywhere and help buyers and sellers. But is there one area that you're focusing on, or say the top two as far as geographically where you're doing most of your work lately?
Top two, it's kind of hard only because I work the Katy through like the Woodlands area. But Cypress is my number one area, Cypress, the Copperfield area. And so it just depends on, I get most of my business for referrals. So I'll go anywhere. Well, people will refer me to their friends and family. But top two, I believe, to answer your question, would be the Cypress area and possibly like the Katy area.
How about Katy? What's going on there?
Oh, it is hopping right now.
I live very close to Katy. I'm actually Houston, but
I don't know if I can talk about one of my listings recently. So just put it on the market on Tuesday. Had over 20-something showings between Tuesday and Friday.
is this an open house you had?
No. And then
Just
the
a
open
listing.
house, that was just the listing. One listing. Open house. And then at the open house had 21 visitors, multiple offer situations. So when
In Katy?
people are saying that the market has slowed down, I'm not seeing it because we had great results for my listing, for the seller. Been great.
Very interesting.
I know. Different from what we're hearing.
I am not surprised because I'm a believer in that in the Katy area. Specifically, I'm in Green Trails, and as far as the proximity to everything, being here at the Loop, 610 Loop, you want to go to the Woodlands, 99, right?
Yep.
Sugarland, it's no big deal. The area of the I-10 and Fry Road, Mason Road, and then even if you go out to 99.
It's incredible. It's just growing. Our city, as you know, has been growing for a while, and it just continues to grow. I don't see it stopping anytime soon. So I see a lot of investors also coming in, and again, not just people from out of state, but people here investing in the Houston, Katy, Texas market.
It sounds to me like take someone that's going to sell their home, like you're listening, that's going to sell their home in Katy, Texas, and it's a nice home. It's cared for, let's say, bad wood or a little bit of curb appeal. They might be able to sell it pretty quick.
They can. And, it was great that my my client did everything that I asked her to do. My client did everything. They really spruced up their home. You're right. They had taken care of it this entire time. But, people are paying higher interest rates now, and they want a move-in ready home.
There is a good point. That is a nugget of gold, Carmen, that you just brought forth. And that is, make sure when it's time to sell, number one, what you said, listen to your realtor.
Correct.
They actually listened.
They did. They listened to everything. And this particular client actually reached out to me back in December and said, what do I need to do? She had been in my group of friends that I'd kept with, brought me in, said, what do I need to do? We talked about it, and guess what? She did everything on the list and more to get her house ready for the market. And
as a real estate professional, you're doing this, you and others, you're doing it every day, so you're able to help and look at the results. So listen to your real estate professional. See that? We're doing some good here today, Carmen.
That's right.
So also now let's leave Katy and go let's forget Cypress for a second.
Okay.
Where else can we talk about that you want to mention?
We can talk about the Woodlands if you'd like.
So you go to the Woodlands too?
I do, yeah.
What's going on up there?
Yeah, lots of growth, just a little bit past the Woodlands, but a lot of people, resale-wise, it's still growing. People are coming in, and that's where I see the market where a lot of people are coming in from other countries, and they want to live in the Woodlands. They are looking a great school district out there that attracts them to them with the children, with families. They love that hometown feel with not being in the inner city, and that's what attracts them to the Woodlands.
A lot of trees in the Woodlands.
A lot of trees.
Sometimes I think I heard someone say the Woodlands, there's not as much new construction, or is there?
There is a little bit of new construction going on, but I think just the growth all the way around, though, all over, like you said, I think you talked about earlier, with Tiffany from 8 to 12, you're seeing all that growth going on all over the market. Not that there's new construction, but the fact that people are also downsizing. So there are now people who were in those nice big homes are now looking to downsize a little bit more, and so that relieves a little bit and puts a little bit more inventory into the market.
Also, I'm thinking about the Woodlands. There are some condos up there, some townhomes, where you might not see that much. You might not see that much of it. In fact, very little in Katy. But in the Woodlands, there are some that I believe that are proximate to things to do, whatever that is, restaurants and so forth.
Right.
And I have a picture in my mind of some of them right now, but you know where I'm talking
I'm talking about, yes, I know exactly where, yes, correct.
And I find that unique in that the Woodlands is, quote, a suburb, but yet it's also kind of a happening area. There's stuff going on.
Always stuff going on out there in the Woodlands. Concerts going on at the Cynthia Woods Pavilion. Always has concerts out there. restaurants to go to. I'm a big foodie, so the restaurant off the top of my head, but I love going to new things and trying new restaurants all the time. So, and just to, let my clients know somewhere to eat and visit with. Yeah.
Well, I went to a new restaurant in December, new for me, here in the River Oaks area called Zante, Zante, but I understand they started in the Woodlands. They have a location up there.
Oh,
have you been there?
I have not been there. I'll have to check it out.
The cheese ravioli, while sounds just okay, is out of sight. I don't know what they do to it, but check it out.
I'll have to try it. Yeah, I'll have to definitely check it out.
Zanti, but I've not been to the Woodlands location.
Yeah.
So as we continue, we're talking with Carmen Fujimoto with Matty Low Properties. Carmen, what are some of the other things you want people to know about the distinctions, the specialty of working with Carmen Fujimoto? Every realtor's different. You're creating relationships.
Very personable. I love to help people find a home, whether they're first-time home buyers or downsizing or looking to move up. I work with all buyers, sellers, and so
one of the things I also want to mention too before we close the segment, and that is your husband is a firefighter.
Correct.
And firefighters, policemen, veterans are very special.
They are.
And he listens to the show. I know that, right?
He does. He does listen to it. Yep, he does. He's been a firefighter for the City of Houston, since now maybe 24 years.
24 years.
24 years. So, and we've just grown up my kids have grown up with him being in the fire department. So it's been a little different, when someone's gone for 24-hour shifts away from the family during holidays.
Right.
Sometimes we'll go visit him at the station when the kids were little, but he's been in there for a long time.
Well, we want to use this opportunity to say thank you to him and anybody else that's serving out there, first responder. Now, do you have a Dalmatian at your house by chance? Firefighter. No?
I do not. We have a German Shepherd and a Chihuahua, but not a Dalmatian.
It's interesting. I wonder how the Dalmatian became the emblem of the firefighters or firehouses. I don't know where that started, but
yeah, I don't know either. I'll have to figure that one out.
We'll find out someday. In the meantime, Carmen Fujimoto with Matty Low Properties. Carmen, how can people reach you, and what else would you like to? Anything else that we didn't cover?
I live in the Cypress area, but I also do a lot of work in the other Copperfield area that I didn't mention. So really one of my stomping grounds too, and a lot of information that I can provide for that as well. But again, I do anywhere from Katy all the way to the Woodlands, and would love to help anybody out.
And how can people reach you?
They can reach me by my phone number, 713-419-5705. 713-419-5705.
And you know what I love? On your card, 713-419-5705 is nice and big. I can read it without my glasses.
That's why I did that.
You're very smart. Thank you, Carmen, for being with us.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Well, I promised you all that we were going to the island, so let the island music go forth once again as we welcome Tom Schwank. He is with Coldwell Banker on the island of Galveston. He is the broker owner. Tom, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bill. It's great to have an opportunity to come up to the big city now and again.
See, I hear a lot of people don't leave the island when they're already there, but every once in a while you got to leave.
I pulled out the passport. I came overseas. I came to America. So thank you.
Well, so nice to have you here, and you hear that island music, don't you?
I sure do.
That's awesome. Well, let's tell people, everyone wants to know about Galveston, wherever they are. I mean, it's a very popular city. Just the word, you could be in New York, and you sound like you were there at one point, right? So people can be in other cities, and they hear Galveston, and they're curious about it. So let's give it a Galveston report, if you will, a real estate report.
Absolutely. First of all, those of us lucky enough to live by the sea are lucky enough. Many people are surprised to find out that Galveston is an island. We are near Texas, so it's roughly the same size as New York City with a full-time population of 45,000 people. So we had a lot of room.
That is a show. First, I didn't know that there's a similarity to the geographic distance or space. So it's about the same?
Roughly the same size. Actually, Galveston's a little longer, and New York City Manhattan is a little wider. Just the idea of what you can do with 7 million people or 45,000, we get lots and lots of visitors, a couple million according to Visit Galveston, our tourist board. So we're thrilled. It's a great place to live. We're getting more and more full-time families. Where the pandemic came, it was interesting. People realized they could work remotely, or for the most part. We are Galveston's front yard. We are Houston's front yard. We are a great entertainment. You can go there for a day, a weekend, a week, or a month, or like me, decide to live there full time.
Well, one of the things that comes to mind, as you mentioned, the tourism, that is a big thing in Houston, for the Houston area, but certainly for Galveston. But I know, and I haven't been on vacation in a faraway place for a long time. I've taken time, certainly, but I do know that when I'm in a place like I used to go to Southern California, but a lot of times when people are on vacation, they think, hey, what if I had a place here? So my point is, when you have people on a vacation, how many of them reach out to you and say, hey, I'm thinking about buying a place?
Well, great Bill, great question.
It?
Let's thank the cruise industry and all of our cruises. It's amazing how many people come down, they stay the night before and the night after they get back, and they think, wow, what a charming, great place. I probably average 2 to 3 sales a year from cruisers from Kansas, from Oklahoma, from Arkansas. It's a very interesting. I love it. Thank you, Roger Reese and the Port of Galveston. They're doing a great job.
Well, explore that further. So how, of all the realtors there, how is it that these 3 or so people find you as they're touring?
Well, my office is it's on 20th Street in the Strand, between Harborside and the Strand.
There we go.
I can literally, in the 1859 historic Knapik building that survived the Civil War, the Battle of Galveston.
Really?
So, yes, it's managed by the Galveston Historical Foundation. Spectacular building. And when I walk right out my front door, you can see the cruise ships right there. They get off there. That's where Katie's Seafood is and Willie G's. So I'm situated pretty well. And, I've had my real estate license since 2003. So it's 20 years last month. People kind of know my name. As you
describe the scene there, as far as the historic building, seeing the sea, I mean, I'm getting visions of New England in a way. I mean, we see certain movies and shows where you have the buildings. You look out the window, there's fishermen and sea and all that.
I can get fresh shrimp delivered. I mean, it's literally right there. Katie's is 20-step walk away. So it's a pretty nice thing. I'm a native New Jerseyan. I love the sea.
What city in New Jersey, by the way? I know I
I'm
asked you
from
years
Bergen
ago.
County, Teaneck, but spent most of my life as a teenager on the Jersey Shore.
So there you are, and here you are.
And here I am.
So tell us a little bit more about this historic building. How long have you been in that building?
I've been in that building. I was in this building for 3 years. My lease is up next month. And I was on 24th in the Strand. And it used to be a guardhouse for the Panama Hotel. And I was in that one for 8 years, which is at 24th and Strand. So I'm a big hit on Dickens on the Strand, Mardi Gras, Lone Star Rally. Everyone goes right by my office.
So it sounds like the building was a pretty good marketing move, too, for the company.
Absolutely. It's a great, and it's amazing how many people stop in to A, use the bathroom. We welcome you. Please come. B, ask for maps. Pick up periodicals.
So people want maps still?
Absolutely. There's a lot of tourists my age, so they use maps.
I haven't seen a map in years.
Hey, pal, I should have brought you some. Oh, yeah.
Bring us a map next time.
Next year, I'm going to start to use DocuSign, so I'm getting there.
Well, you're trendsetter, right?
Yeah, I'm a trendsetter.
So, okay, let's continue with the Galveston Report with Tom Schwank right here. Almost should be a regular thing, right, Tom? But anyway, just saying. So let's tell people what else is going on. You're selling second homes there, right?
Well,
what about the primary homes, too?
Surprisingly, I, as the broker owner, I'm the managing broker, I sell a lot of first-time home owners, or obviously they're not first-time home buyers, but they're first-time home buyers in Galveston. I sell a lot of...
That's a special niche there.
It sure is. Many people are retired or they're empty nesters before their children have grandchildren. So I have this lovely market. They come down for 8 or 9 years, and their children then have children in Colorado or Utah or New York, and so they have to move. So I have a great referral business. But I do that. I have 12 agents in the office. We specialize from the West End, the beaches. I have 2 incredibly competitive surfers, so we got to make sure that they hook up with the right kinds of people. We get a lot of beach bungalow folk. But we also have 2 agents on the mainland for Galveston County. We don't come into Houston. There's a code of ethics that you're intimately familiar with the properties you sell. There's incredible flood regulations, tide regulations, beach accretion.
What's beach accretion?
What happens in a storm
Erosion-like?
and the erosions? What
Okay.
happens in storms? So if you're a first row, you could lose your home if a line of vegetation goes by, takes it. Then the state of Texas gets it. And so if you're going to make an investment, you want to make sure you have somebody that knows that.
Like Tom Schwank.
Like Tom's team or Tom Schwank.
Tom's
Exactly.
team. I believe that's your website, isn't it, Tom?
It's Tom's Galveston Real Estate. Talk to Tom's team.
Say that again.
I know, that's great. That's that New Jersey in me 40 years later. I guess I should slow down, huh? My website is tomsgalvestonrealestate.com. But if you Google Talk to Tom's Team, it pops up.
But the point is, you better know someone that knows the area like
Exactly.
you in Galveston, because there are nuances that just aren't found anywhere else. In fact, even in other beach communities,
That's
I'm
correct.
saying it's different.
And listening to the realtors before me, the brokers and the realtors before me with their new builds and how things, I have no idea. We on the West End, we have new build.
That's what I was going to ask you.
And that's really great. And I have two wonderful agents that handle those. I'm the historic guy. I know every code, everything the city allows, what you can do in a historic home, what kind of roofs you can use, what setbacks there are you allowed a garage? It's an amazing thing. We had a lot of short-term rentals. We had a lot of investors. That's slowed down because, frankly, there's many places in Galveston that are wonderful to live, but they're not so great to be on vacation at. You know, they're like regular neighborhoods.
How far is your historic building from the Stewart Title historic building?
It is, I'm at 20th and Strand, and they are at 22nd and Mechanic, which is 1 block up and 2 blocks over.
You could walk there.
We do, frequently.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's
So
unbelievable.
all these Houston agents that sell in Galveston, please put down Stewart Title so that it's real close to me. It's real easy.
and,
Please.
and you like us too, though,
Oh,
right?
yeah, you're
but
pretty
yeah.
wonderful folk. I mean, that part is great, you know. So,
But we're close.
Yeah.
So I like that.
yeah, hey.
Well, we got to be practical.
Well, there's the deal. I mean, there's other great title companies in Galveston as well.
There
Don't
are?
get me
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
Yeah, there are. And this one's really close, and people understand that I'm there because I'm a past chair of the Landmarks Commission, as well as the past president of the Galveston Historical Foundation.
Well, that's right. And building, like you said, some buildings are historical landmarks, and I bet there's a lot of them. Other than Stewart Title and your building, there's a lot of them in Galveston.
The interesting thing, after Hurricane Ike, all those years ago, the mayor of Charleston came to help us. And he was talking about what a great city it was. And while you had some Victorian properties, it's not like Charleston. At the end of the week, he apologized. It turns out we have twice as many historic properties in Galveston than Charleston has. So
What?
yeah, exactly. Everyone
That's a
is
surprise.
surprised, but we have the largest historic homes tour every year, which is the first 2 weekends in May, which is spectacular.
That's coming up.
It sure is.
Isn't
And
it? Yeah.
I've been volunteering since 1989. I finally retired this year, but they talked me into taking tickets. So.
One more time.
One
They
more
brought-
time.
It's like Godfather 2.
Yeah,
They
right.
brought you back.
One more time. But it's also wonderful for real estate because people visit and see what we have to offer. And let's talk about all our great restaurants that we have now. There's
Some great spots.
A lot of good spots. It's a great place to come
Well,
to.
you sound like you are an ambassador for Galveston, Texas, and doing your work here today on the show, you've piqued my interest in a way that hasn't been done recently. The thing about New York, the size, God, I didn't know that. I didn't know there was. I mean, you're bringing forth tremendous stuff here, Tom. Too bad we're almost done.
You know what happens. Yeah, no, it's a great place to live. It's a great place to have a second home. We just passed a new bond issue for a brand new school, so Galveston's doing great.
Well, Tom Schwank, broker owner, Caldwell banker, right there. Let's tell people how they can reach out to you.
Sure. Well, of course, you can go to Tom at talk2tgre.com, or, of course, you can call me at 409-888-6178. 409-888-6178.
Fascinating stuff. Next time, you're going to even bring a map.
For you, the world. I actually give a wooden plaque map to all of our new buyers, and I buy it right there on the Strand at one of our shops. That is incredible.
Unbelievable. Well, one of the things you're doing, too, creating interest in Galveston, but also the history. It makes me want to explore more how Galveston became, how it started, and all those things. Tom, one more time, let's tell them your number.
It's 409-888-6178.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It was lovely.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance, with a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers. Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is once again, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance. John.
Hi, Bill.
We even had a history lesson today, and it just kind of just warmed us up to learn more about Galveston and all the
We've
stuff
had a
going on.
successful day. We've learned something.
Well, that's how one of the ways I measure success. I know you do too.
If you learn something, you've had a good day.
But here we are, insurance time once again. Right away, I'm still thinking about Galveston, the insurance that's needed there with some of the extra considerations, and certainly all around Houston and beyond. But
No, it's fantastic. I was we were laughing about the maps. I was in Galveston in December for
That's right, yes.
a long weekend, and I had a map, a paper map, because I wanted to be able to find the streets and the different restaurants and sites that I wanted to see. So it was easier to use that than try to figure it out on Google, because I didn't know what I didn't know.
an actual paper map.
An actual paper map, yes.
Well, that's also what Jean Lafitte and Bernard Galvez probably used, a real paper map. But
Absolutely.
But theirs had skulls on it and stuff.
They
Probably.
did, they did, yes.
Who knows?
And it was Jean Lafitte. I'd kind of like to talk a little bit about, I've been out and about a lot lately, a lot of different events and a lot of different activities. And I had to remind myself about the importance of networking and how networking can be such a great tool for us. And I know that our realtor listeners and our broker listeners do a ton of networking, that they're always out, whether it's an open house or an event or they're hosting an event. You know, so I just thought it would be helpful. I keep a list of reminders for me that I look at before events so that I can remember what I'm trying to accomplish.
What your goal is.
Yeah, because it's not just to show up and be pretty, but you and I can do that with our eyes closed.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
But it is important that we have some focus on that. So I kind of wanted to share that today.
And that's a good thing, because when we hear realtors that say, or anybody else in almost any field, when they say, well, I get a lot of my business by referrals. Well, the referral, to be referred, we have to have a beginning of a relationship. Thus, many times, and I could speak of many examples, meeting people at events is one place where the beginning of the relationship happens.
Absolutely, yeah. And in a sense, you're networking wherever you are.
Yes.
You know, we've had many a guest on the show that you've met at social functions, or we've had guests that I've met on social functions. So you're always networking at some level. So part of it is just getting in the game and avoiding the sidelines. So whether you're at a true networking event, or you're a social gathering, or just out and about, meet people, say hello, you know, have a conversation versus, you know, standing in the corner or waiting for somebody to come up and see you. Sometimes it's not a natural thing for me. So it's something that I need.
You'd be mindful of.
Yes, I need to be very mindful of. But once you get started, it's like most anything else. Once you get started, then you get in the groove and it can happen. But don't stand on the sidelines. You know, let's get active. You know, be present. So, you know, the saying I love is wherever your feet are, be there. So, you know, if you're at a networking event, focus on the folks that are there. Focus on the event. Not be worried about, I've got another sales call this afternoon, or I've got that meeting in the morning, or I have that open house that I'm not quite ready for. You know, wherever you are, be there, and, you know, be present in that moment and take advantage of that opportunity. You know, don't project negative thoughts. Don't have self-doubt. Well, you know, Tom's not going to want to have a conversation with me about potentially making referrals because he's been working with so-and-so for a long time. Why would I project that? Why not go up and have a conversation, get to know Tom, and then find out? Maybe there's some things we can do for Sandy and her team, but if you project that, oh, well, they're already working with somebody else, or they've been in that part of the city for a
You're
long
talking
time.
yourself out of a
Exactly.
relationship.
Exactly. So that's one. Ask good questions. Ask open-ended questions. Ask questions that are going to start a conversation. So that takes some thought and preparation, ahead of time. When you get asked a question, provide some detailed information. Don't just answer yes, no, we do, sometimes, Thursdays. Provide an answer that can stimulate additional conversation. Don't be assuming that would be too prideful. People are interested in other people, so be willing to share as much as you would like for them to be willing to to share to you. The tough one for me, and I think it's a tough one for all of us, is listen to understand and not respond. That we are hearing somebody's response and I've got something I want to share. I got something I want to share versus just literally listening to understand what they have to say. So listen to understand, not to respond. Be ready and willing to help. So your first thought when you meet somebody or you're in a networking event is, what can I do for you? How can I help this person? It could be a referral. It could be a suggestion. It could be a recommendation. It could be teaching a class. It could be providing a map, providing guidance on places to go in the woodlands or in Cypress. But just that idea of, what can I do first? How can I help? So you're going in that attitude versus the attitude of what you can do, for me. If it's a evening event, watch the cocktails. You don't want to
Watch them or drink them?
Well, you can drink them, just don't drink too many of them.
Good point.
Or pace yourself. You don't want to be sloppy. You want to be effective. Be authentic and be curious. Be yourself. Don't try to be, if you're not a gregarious person, don't try to be a gregarious person. Just be yourself. If you are a gregarious person, then be that way. Be authentic, and then truly do be curious about situations and people, and your great questions about the history of Galveston. Why you're such a good host for Real Estate Matters is because you're curious. You genuinely care about people and their situations and where they're from and what they do. So just learn from Bill Knapik and be curious.
I am very curious. That is true, and it helps. One of the things I identify with too, John, is listening. That is a big thing. I work on it all the time because sometimes even on the show or other in life, I listen, but I'm like ready to get to the next thing. So really to be conscious of that moment of where you're at, that's a big deal. And it makes a big difference, too, if you're able to execute that and put that into practice, I believe.
Well, and people can tell when you're having a conversation with them, if you're truly paying attention to them and you're truly focused on them, or if you're just ready to go to the next stop or see the next person, or that what you have to say is so important that you've got to get it out.
In fact, as far as watching the drinks in the morning, watch the coffee, because sometimes if you have too much coffee, you're in the mood. Oh, okay, what else? What Oh, well, let me tell you this, right?
Well, and it
so,
is.
Yeah,
I mean,
it can be a stimulant.
Yeah. Are you there to have cocktails? Or are you there to meet people and see how you can support an industry or a group? I think, and it goes back to having a purpose. What is your purpose for being there? And if your purpose for being there is having cocktails, there's probably other places you could go that would be more effective.
The other note, I think, is go to events. And that event could be one with many people, several people. But when I track progress, or when I think of, that person, wow, I met them years ago at this or months ago at this, and then I say, if I didn't choose to go to that place, I wouldn't have had that valuable relationship.
Yeah, that's that idea of avoiding the sidelines. I'm the same way.
Avoid the sidelines.
It's been a long day, and I have that event tonight, and we had a class the morning before, and I'm really tired and want to watch the game. And then when I say talk myself into it, all right, you've committed, let's go do this. Then it ends up being a great event, and you meet fabulous people. So it's just a matter of just doing it.
Man, I can't wait to go to another event. This radio show is an event every week, by
Absolutely
the way,
it
but
is.
there are other things to do.
Absolutely it is, but there are. I'm fortunate enough to be on the board of the Houston Mortgage Bankers
Like
Association.
20 different things you're on the board of.
Houston Independent Real Estate Brokers Association, and they have events all the time. And it's important to be there to represent them, but it's also important to be there to represent Stewart Insurance and to represent John Bramblett.
Right now, people are wondering, what if I want to reach Stewart Insurance and find out about how they can help me, whether I'm in Galveston, Indiana, maybe even New Jersey? You're helping people in Jersey, too.
Well, we just set up our hotline for New Jersey, and it's 866-798-2827. If you remembered a couple weeks ago when Maggie was here, we set up the Galveston hotline.
That's right, and that's been running pretty well.
It's been running great, yeah, and it's 866-798-2827. So if you want to be properly insured, whether you're in New Jersey or Galveston or Cypress or the Woodlands, for your home, wind, auto, flood, motorcycle, or if you're a real estate broker or a realtor, property management firm, or independent title and attorney agent, and you need business insurance, errors and omissions, cyber liability, business property owners insurance, commercial property insurance, we can help you with that as well.
All they have to do is call
866-798-2827. Our focus is to be the the insurance resource for real estate.
John, thank you so much for being with us.
Always a pleasure, Bill.
I say it many times, stay close to your Stewart Title Business Development Officer. She is here, fairly new to the company. She's been on the show before, Kim Dawkins. Kim, welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Well, it's awesome. That Cypress office, huh?
Yeah, it's amazing. We have some good things coming up.
Some good things coming up.
Yep.
Good things have been going on there for years. Let's tell people, as far as your team, you have Sharon, who's been with the company.
Yeah, 41 years.
That
So
is-
she doesn't like me to tell everybody how long she's been there, but she is a rock star. She knows it all.
Kind of
She's
like
great.
Tom, if someone wants to know about Galveston, she knows about it.
She does.
Imagine how many transactions she's
I
helped.
can't even tell you. I mean, she's been around and she just knows her stuff for sure.
She's incredible,
Yeah.
as are the whole team there. in
Yeah.
Cypress.
So we also have Marby Phillips as well, and she's been with Stewart for 21 years. She's not a new escrow officer. I think we promoted her about a year ago or so, but she's a Spanish-speaking escrow officer, so she's also amazing.
Kim, and you're enjoying the role here as you've been with
Absolutely.
Stewart now, I don't know, 6-7 months?
No, not even that. Well, let's see. I started January 3rd. So what is this? April? So
I
yeah,
have
not
no
that
idea.
long. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's tell people how they can reach out to you to find out about all the things that you're doing there.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
helping realtors.
So that is one thing I want to ask. If you used to receive emails from Tammy Barna and for some reason you're not getting them anymore, please reach out to me and let me know, and I'll make sure to update your email in our system. I want to make sure you're getting our class information and just any events we have coming up. So you can reach out to me. I had to grab my business card because I don't know my mobile number by heart yet, but that is 713-203-8640. Or you can reach me also by email at kim.dawkins, and that's DOCKINS @stewart.com.
The phone number again is?
713-203-8640.
I'm going to steal that card
Yeah,
too if I
take it.
could. Thank
All
you
right.
so much,
Thanks.
Kim. And Maggie, one quick word. All the way from Galveston. She did not bring any maps here today. However, Maggie Green is here wearing an orange jacket today. Last time or 2 times ago, you were green. Maggie, welcome to the show. Galveston, you get to go over to Tom's office, eh?
I do. It's right around the corner.
It's close. Everybody likes to be close.
Right, exactly.
It's a community, I hear. Let's tell people real quick, you have 2 offices, downtown and the West End.
Yes, sir.
How can they reach you there?
They can reach me at 409-356-3981. That's my mobile number, so you can reach me there anytime, or you can email me at Maggie, MAGGIE, .green, like the color, at stewart.com.
So they can go to one of the events, visit with you, and then go over and see Tom and get the scoop.
Absolutely.
Phone number again is?
409-356-3981.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Maggie Green. Now, from the Cypress Beach, Tiffany Nolan. And I say that, Tiffany, because Cypress does have a beach. If you look at Town Lake, I was just thinking about it. You're looking at Town Lake over there.
They actually do
There's
have
a little bit of a
They do
beach.
have a beach. It's like it's a little man-made beach,
Yeah,
but it's
but
you
it's
know,
not
hey,
Galveston, yeah.
It's for pleasure and fun, and that's what that neighborhood brings. They try to bring the Galveston lake life and beach life to
Right.
the suburbs, and they did a pretty good job. So I think it's pretty fun. You can get on your little boat and go to different restaurants and
It's
stuff
nice.
within the
I've been
neighborhood.
on
And so it's
that.
kind of nice. Yeah.
Well, before we close the show, Tiffany, what else you want people to know about your company and what you're doing out there?
I just want people to know that we're very active in the community. I mean, like you said, Carmen's husband is a firefighter. My husband's a high school football teacher and coach for Klein ISD. And I have a son in the military. So we're all about giving back to our community with VA loans, with teachers, all of those certain things. We can help you out.
What branch of service?
My son is in the Coast Guard, so he's in the state side.
We
so
appreciate
I'm
that.
very
all
happy.
all those in the military. And by the way, I just watched Top Gun the other night, the new one, Maverick. And
Awesome.
made me want to be in the Air Force or
Right.
whatever it is. Then I want to fly one of those planes one day. Did you see
Good
that?
luck with that.
Yeah, not going to happen, is it?
Probably not, but hey, you can set your high hopes really
I
high.
have a better chance of getting a map from Tom, I think.
I think that's coming.
Did you see the movie?
I did.
Isn't that good?
I've watched the first one many times over when I was a younger woman. So
Tom Cruise listens to this show all the time. Someone told me. Let's tell people how they can reach you, Tiffany Nolan.
one more time, 832-752-2769.
Thank you for being with us. And now Carmen Fujimoto is back, also with Maddie Lowe Properties. Carmen, a final word. What's the latest? We're glad that you came to see us again. I know you love being here, don't you?
I do. It was great being here like last time, and I've enjoyed it quite a bit. So look forward to coming back when you can have me again.
Well, we would like that. So let's tell people, Carmen Fujimoto, how they can reach you.
You can reach me at 713-419-5705. I can be reached by phone or text.
There you go. Right. One more time, the number is
713-419-5705.
Thank you so much. Tom Schwank is back. Oh, yeah. There's that island music again. Tom, a final thought before we close things down and bring the ship into the harbor.
There you go, my friend. Okay. Coldwell Banker TGRE is an independent. We're an affiliate of Coldwell Banker. We were a boutique line, purchased a franchise about 7 months ago. It was great being here. I learned all about the woodlands in Cyprus, about America. It's good as a citizen to know those things. So
well, yeah,
I'm thrilled.
The other thing I've noticed about Galveston, when you were on a few minutes ago, some of the things you had some nautical terms. And right there, just using the nautical parlance made me feel I was on vacation just for a minute or two.
As I said, Bill, those of us lucky enough to live by the sea are lucky enough. And imagine being able to live where folks go on vacation. What's better? Everyone's happy. It's lovely.
Something about the seafaring town. It's no matter where it is, but especially right here. It's our own seafaring town.
It
Galveston,
sure is.
Texas.
Oh,
And the great new at the Seafarers Museum, the Galveston Museum, that's just like Ellis Island. They have an incredible display on folks on where your forefathers came from, your descendants. It's a marvelous thing, and it's not as crowded.
And you said it during the break, real quick. The name Galveston comes from.
Oh, it's Bernardo de Galvez, who was an explorer.
And his time was about the 1700s.
Probably, I think it's the 1700s. Please don't quote me on that, but that's where the name came from. And so Avenue O is Bernardo de Galvez Boulevard. So
your number, Tom, is
409-888-6178. 409-888-6178. And actually, Bernardo de Galvez is Avenue P.
Good to know. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everyone. And thank you all for listening.
And anyone wants a map, feel free to call.
Tommy's got the maps. Like in Jersey, they probably called you Tommy, right?
Yeah, of course they did.
Of course. There you go. So Tom has the maps. He has the real estate. Tiffany, Carmen, they'll take care of you right there in Cypress and points west or really anywhere. But thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. On behalf of John Bramlett, Tom Carpentier, Larry Warren, Justin Ramirez, all of us from Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance, we appreciate you listening and reminding you to go to stewart.com/radio. That's right, you could see the guests right here. You could see the ships in the background right there at stewart.com/radio and listen and hear past shows. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next week.